So Manchester City coming from behind to defeat Everton by 3-1. Just taking a look at what that means regarding their position in the Premier League. Fourth in the table now, 5 points of drift of Liverpool at the top of the table. They do have that game in hand. We welcome to the show Mario Malcuit joins us. We'll be hearing from Mario in a moment. Craig, overall, this was much better from City. Wasn't that second half performance compared to what we'd seen leading up to this tie?
Yeah, I mean, they still made the mistake for the, or 3 or 4 mistakes in the one passage of play for that end up with Jack Harrison scoring. But bearing in mind, Everton have been pretty good recently, the way they've played and the way they've harassed teams, the chances they created at Tottenham. They're at Goodison, got a crowd behind them. City coming back after their trip to Saudi Arabia for the glorified friendlies. You know, Sean Dyche said, look, they'll be ready for this. They need to pick up. They need to pick it up again and they need to get going. And they did that in the second half. Now, Pickford, who shouted at everybody during the game, makes a mistake. When it's 2-1, he makes that mistake, which he could have cleared first time, which Bernardo Silva, it's a great finish. But at 2-1, it's even though Everton in the second half, there was only really the Calvert-Lewin challenge from the cross from the right. They weren't creating much, but at 2-1, they're hanging in there.
Yeah.
Right. They're at least hanging in to sneak maybe a point. We've seen Crystal Palace do it recently at the Etihad against City. So they have been vulnerable to that, but yeah, the mistake from the goalkeeper and the finish from Bernardo Silva to make it 3-1 just killed the game. And it's hard to argue that City, the way they played in the second half.
Well, but that's a great point, because even at 0-0, it was all Man City.
Well, it's for the first 25 minutes,
yeah,
wasn't it? First 25 minutes, all City, and then all of a sudden Everton had that spell where they score.
Then they get the goal. And that's what we're saying. You give yourself an opportunity to stay in a game. And Pickford had made 2 or 3 really nice saves in the match, particularly in the first half. And so, yeah, that's always frustrating. Who would ever want to be a goalkeeper? It's a terrible position.
Oh, get the violins out.
Well, I think some of the mistakes they made again with the touches with Akanji and Ake. But, you know, if you look at positives, they have, you know, obviously Haaland wasn't there, De Bruyne still wasn't there. They've got players to come back. But also Phil Foden, if he can get a second half of the season, if he can get it going. We know Bernardo Silva is such a consistently fantastic player. But I think Phil Foden really can add some gold dust onto this team, and that's how good he is. Now, he has to do it consistently because there's competition for places. But I also thought, I mean, Kyle Walker, you know, every time I see City play, to me, he's almost always their best defender. Just even at his age, the pace, the power, the composure and the experience he has in all scenarios is just great to see.
What he allows them to do is to be able to have that much higher line. You know they're going to have a ton of possession. They're going to then be able to get more players into play because they know that if it breaks down, you got one player in the pitch who has the pace to be able to get back in cover and allow you to have that many players in advanced positions. And the fact that they almost let him go in the summer is kind of showing how important he is to this side.
All right, from one quick defender to one slow defender.
Oh, was that your link to Mario? Blimey heck, that's harsh.
Oh, sorry.
Wow.
Hey, Dan, don't worry about it, my friend. I've never been
What?
questioned about my pace. Don't worry about it. It was always so.
I don't know. Next to Kyle Walker, I don't know.
But hey, listen, it wasn't my time. But I never had a problem with anybody. I mean, playing against Ronaldo, never got done on pace. So that's not bad.
Yes. There you go. There you go.
Hey, we've poked the bear now, haven't we? We've poked the bear.
I'm just saying, you know, I mean.
Mario, penalty or no penalty for you?
What do you say? A penalty. You know what the thing is? I think Craig said the right point. I think because we are living in the time now where we got to follow the rules, but it's just so uncomfortable. If you're a defender, how are you going to defend this? I know we can say like his hand was up there, but guys, come on. I don't want to think about when I want to stop or block a ball, thinking about where I'm going to put my arms. I just want to get to the ball and make sure it doesn't get kicked towards my goal. So I think that is the only question I have, but hey, like the rules are, there's not a lot I can do, or I would just stand there and just have to take it on. Because if I get in the face of the referee, I'll probably get a yellow card, so I'll probably have to back off.
What was interesting, because Casey, we watched the game together, is after it's everything, Craig's pacing around, like almost reenacting where his hand would be as the block.
And that's Tamara's point, is how are you going to have natural action? I mean, if you're jumping around and flying, you're not doing it like this
Right.
and trying to act. It's impossible. So I think the key, and it's been the issue that FIFA's had, is trying to find a level of consistency on what's going to be called and what's not going to be called, because we all know in a week's time that same thing could happen and it won't be called a penalty.
In the current guise of the laws, it's a penalty kick, right? Whether we like it or not. And there are a lot of conspiracies out there already, particularly mainly on social media, which we should.
I don't know why you look at that.
Well, we should really ignore. But this is the kind of people that were, and there might be one or two of them watch this show. Who knows? That the referee, who did get surrounded to a certain extent by the City players, was influenced by that. But if you look closely at it, when the City players got round him a little bit, he was looking directly at his assistant
Correct, yeah.
for some help. So they worked together, whether we like it or not, on that decision. Look, what I'd like to see is the powers that be put everything to the side in the summer. Don't talk about offsides. Don't talk about how many subs there's going to be. Don't talk about all the other laws of the game changes and what they can and can't do. I really like the powers that be to spend a whole summer, if they can be bothered, and figure out something better with the handball, because I feel that's the one that we discuss more.
Yeah.
And there is more ambiguity around this law than any other in the game. Because we can get back into automated offsides and all the other stuff in the laws. But when it comes to the handball, this is the greyest of grey. And I don't think anybody has a definitive answer, but we have to get to a place where it is better than it is at the moment.
As Craig mentioned, Phil Foden was excellent, of course, scoring the goal, just involved with everything that was good about City in that second half, Mario. How would you fancy trying to defend him when he's in this sort of form?
I think Phil has that ability. Then I'm not sure if, I'm sure you guys are familiar when Rooney came up. You know, I always felt like sometimes you meet players that are aware of their surroundings, and I think Phil is one of those players. He sees things. He knows exactly where to pick up the ball. He knows exactly where he's dangerous. And I always say that, like, when a player is good, it doesn't only come on the skill that he possesses, but it also comes down on the reading, like knowing exactly what to do. I remember playing against, for example, when I was playing against Rooney would drop off, and you would go like, why is he dropping off? Why doesn't he just go higher on the pitch and plays one against one? No, drop off because you could get on the ball. And Foden has the intelligence of being a young boy. And one thing is sticking to your belief, because, guys, coming into the City team, he was in and out in the beginning, and it was like a big question above his head. Will he be able to keep his calmness and wait for the right moment? Oh, he clearly did the right choice for himself in waiting, and now he's part of the team, and now he's showing why he's so important. So I think it's a great player to watch, and the way he's playing now, okay, I hope when De Bruyne comes back, it won't affect his game too much in the sense of like playing. But I hope that he already made a comment. He said, I'm learning so much from the guys like Silva. And I hope he just keeps on going, because those are the guys that see the game, play the game in a way that I think that will suit him even better.
I'm glad the heat map wasn't around when I was playing. I'm presuming that arrow for the heat map meant that was the first half. I was a little bit confused, but there you go. There was a big red arrow on there. If there'd been one when I was playing, it would just have been in a centre circle.
It's when they're attacking.
It's when they're attacking?
Yes, throughout the game.
Because I was, as Mario was talking, I was sort of gallantly looking at that heat map going, there's a big red arrow, and I'm a little confused. Anyway.
Thanks for sharing that.
Well, if I'm confused, then I would imagine other people are confused as well, because I'm not easily confused.
Right,
apart from today.
Good.
He's a great player.
If we take a look at the odds for Manchester...
Oh, no more heat maps?
No more heat maps, no. With regards to the Premier League title race, City are favourites. At evens, then it's Arsenal to Liverpool to Aston Villa. We were talking about this, you look at City's run, and every time we bring up City and their title chances, we talk about them going on one of their runs, as they've done over recent years. They've got Sheffield United now, they've got Newcastle away, they've got Burnley at home, they've got Brentford away, they've got Everton at home. It's a nice little run, isn't it?
Well, that's only a 5-game run.
Well, do you want me to keep going? Then you've got Chelsea, then you've got Bournemouth, and then you've got the Manchester Derby.
You want to expand... Well, no, because previously when they've went on runs, it's been something like a dozen games.
Yes, yeah.
Now, that's a head start. You would imagine with that that round of fixtures, you just never know. I mean, Newcastle a little bit backs to the wall, and they might get a reaction for the manager. But yeah, I mean, I think they were making so many mistakes prior to this Club World Cup and they have made mistakes in this game tonight, which they've got away with. But I'm not convinced that they're going to just blow everybody away this year.
Do you think they're going to do enough?
And I do think it is important. And there's a counter argument to say, well, you know, last year it was just Arsenal and City, and so they could look at each other. But I think it's better that there's at least one more team in there, and it's Liverpool. Villa or not? Villa won't.
Better for who?
For us.
Yeah, most definitely. It's not better for City.
No, it's not better.
There's another
It's
runner
not
in the
better
race.
for City, and indeed, it's probably a good thing for Arsenal in terms of last year. We were just looking at both teams and going, right, when are Arsenal going to falter?
Yeah.
What's going to happen? At least now everybody's going, wow, this could go any way at the moment. So I think it's really, really good for the neutral and for the Premier League, and I hope Villa stay up there. I just don't think Casey they will.
I don't see it.
Right, Casey. 3-horse race.
Yep.
Percentages.
No, I think because of past experience with Man City, I understand why the bookies put them where they are.
So Casey's percentages. Here we go.
My percentages are probably 50% Man City.
Oh, really? That's strong.
And then 25-25.
25-25.
Arsenal, Liverpool.
Really?
Yeah.
That's quite definitive.
I think they are the favourites because of simply what they've been able to do historically.
And experience will play a part. Mario?
I'll go. Mine will go with Liverpool. I called it last time, so I will stick with them. Beginning of the season, I had City, but I feel like Liverpool, their mentality and the way they play, and I feel like City might drop. That's just what Craig just highlighted. I feel like all of them have moments of they can be beaten, and City never had that before. So that's one question I have. When it comes to Arsenal, I think, as long as they keep Rice fit and keep him doing, I think he's the missing link for them. So, but I still think Liverpool, with the 3 new midfielders, I will give them, 40%? And then the rest will take I will split it. 40? Then I give
30,
the other
30.
one, so it's a 30-30.
40-30-30. I don't want to see
Yeah,
you.
60-60, 40.
Hold on, I'll work it out. We've got a calculator on
You
here.
don't
I'll
need
work it out
to.
for
Don't
you.
worry, man. Don't worry. I knew when I was winning and when I was losing. Don't worry about it, Greg.
My maths are 40% City.
Right.
I agree.
Yes.
Slight favourites, history, experience. 35% Arsenal.
Okay.
And 25 Liverpool.
Okay. All right. Good stuff.